Greetings all, this is Hairy Nick. How are you guys? We're having a bit of a lull in the schedule with all the X-Wing 2.0 stuff, so I thought I'd make a quick video to have a chat with you guys about what's going on. Because we've gone through all the initial stuff, all those initial articles, which detailed a few spoilers from the various factions. Thank you so much, by the way, guys. Those videos are doing very well. Thank you for all the views, all the nice comments. I really appreciate that. But just a couple of days ago, we had this posted on both FFG's Facebook page and Twitter, which means in a few days, we're going to have the unboxing of each of these conversion packs, and that pretty much means we're going to have absolutely everything spoiled. I was not expecting this. I fully expected over the next few months to have these kind of drip-fed to us in articles, bit by bit. But it seems what's going to happen is we're just going to have the whole lot spoiled to us at once. Hopefully whoever does this unboxes it in such a way that we can see nice clear images of the cards and so on and so forth. Hopefully it's not just a sort of like one guy and his little webcam and it's bad quality and everything's sort of skewed and pixelated. I'm really hoping that this is going to be accompanied by articles so we do get proper high-res images to talk about. Because content creators like me on YouTube are going to have a look at these. Yes, we're going to go through all of these, I can tell you that right now. And if we have nice high-res images, that obviously makes our videos much better. But look, whatever happens, I will work with whatever I have. And on that topic, yes, I have been asked by a few of you guys, are you going to make videos on these? Can we expect stuff in the next few days after the unboxing? Yes and no. I just want to remind you guys that while I may look it, I am not a time-traveling wizard. And we are talking about literal hundreds of cards here. So it's going to take a while to sift through all this kind of stuff. We're going to have to look at each pilot bit by bit, each upgrade card bit by bit. And in terms of what I usually do, say, based on an article or an unboxing or whatever, we're usually looking at about 20-30 upgrade cards for one of the larger videos I do. And because we're talking about this sheer quantity, it's going to take a lot of videos over a long period of time. I'm expecting us to be able to cover everything over about the course of 2 weeks, I'm going to guess. It seriously is that amount of stuff. So thanks in advance for your guys' patience, but it'll be really cool to do this kind of stuff. What I'm thinking of doing is just separating out the factions bit by bit. Maybe doing a video on big ships, small ships, and medium ships, or something like that for each faction. And then doing a video on each of the different kinds of upgrade cards. Maybe one on missiles and torpedoes, a separate one on turrets, maybe modifications and systems and the same kind of thing. Whatever groups together nicely. That's what I'm thinking at this stage anyway. I also wanted to have a quick chat about some of the things we should be looking out for in these unboxings, because we have a few anomalies based on the initial reveal article. First up, I'm just keen to keep a close eye on which pilots appear on certain ships. Now, FFG have stated that yes, we're getting all the pilots and they're in fact adding more pilots. But there is the noticeable absence of Juno Eclipse on the TIE Advance. In fact, Juno Eclipse's ability has been given to a different pilot. And that says to me that maybe Juno Eclipse will appear somewhere else in the game. Maybe the Rogue Shadow is going to come out down the line. This is all speculation. But particularly on the Scum faction, there is the possibility that, say, a Sarge Ventress will not be on the Shadowcaster, for example, if they want to have a look at making the prequel armies in the Republic and CIS. If FFG can identify certain pilots like a Sarge Ventress that may fit into those factions, they may be keen to pull them off the existing ships they're on in order to fit them into those factions. A few of you guys have pointed this out to me and I completely agree. We're seeing a couple of mechanics that would work perfectly in the prequel factions in calculation and force tokens. Calculation, of course, would pretty much be on every single ship on the CIS, apart from maybe a Count Dooku or a Sarge Ventress pilot, that kind of stuff. But all the Vulture droids and that kind of stuff, this feels to me like the groundings of a mechanic that can explore that space eventually. We're going to approach it conservatively. Obviously, there's going to be a bit of it on the 3 existing factions, but it's one of those things where if it takes off and it's very popular, it'd be very easy to build a faction around it. And the same with the Force tokens. If the Republic was turned into a faction and Jedis were pilots, we could have generic pilots with Force tokens. And again, that's a very interesting design space to move into. And just bringing it back to what I was talking about before, if a Sarge Ventress is not on the Shadowcaster, this is one of those things that says to me, well, maybe that's something they're thinking of. Maybe they're pulling off certain pilots so that they can be entered into the game again on different ships or whatever. Another thing to look out for is there was calculation tokens confirmed on the Empire spread, which means that there is going to be a droid, either pilot or crew, that grants calculations tokens added onto the Empire faction, which there currently is none of. I had a couple of comments speculating that maybe Iden Vasio's personal droid, which you guys informed me is in Battlefront 2, might be appearing as a crew card. That'd make a lot of sense. It's just one of those things to look out for because it will be a new thing in the game. And something else I'm keen to look out for, talking about characters that are being pulled off or put on certain ships, I do think there is a conversation to be had around Darth Maul, because previously in X-Wing First Edition, he was put predominantly on the Scum faction, but can also be filled on the Rebel faction. And meta-wise, he actually appears more on the Rebel faction, way more than anything else. And because FFG are making a point of separating the factions more, like Captain Nim will not be on the Rebel faction, for example, I just want to watch out for what happens with Darth Maul. Not only because I think it would be great to have a bit more of a relevant Scum crew in him, but also because I would like to see him on his own ship, the Night Brother. And I get the impression, because he was printed in the Phantom 2, that was kind of a signpost that FFG did not want to print him on his own ship. And because all the mechanics are getting cleaned up, it kind of makes the extra design a bit more easy. It means we can have a large base ship that kind of functions like a Fang fighter, kind of like an aggressor. In lore, by the way, guys, the aggressor was meant to be the large Mandalorian ship that IG-88 just happened to have. And I get the impression that the Night Brother, that large Fang fighter, was kind of stepping on its toes in terms of the design space. Because IG-88 now is very unique in that he has calculation tokens, they share around calculation tokens, it may have simplified the design enough to allow something like the Night Brother to be made into the game, which excites me greatly. I mean, the main thing with X-Wing 2nd Edition is what is happening to the design of the game. Simplifying things like they're doing means the designers have a lot more breathing room when it comes to designing new things, because it just became so bloated in First Edition. And I think in terms of what's going to be appearing in these conversion packs, let's look out for the things that are included and specifically the things that are not included, because it may give us a bit of a signpost in terms of what is happening next in these expansions. Anyway, guys, stay tuned for FFG's unboxing videos. Stay tuned for my analysis of everything that we see from that. And in the comment section here, tell me, what are you guys looking forward to? What are you watching out for? I'd love to know. Let's get this conversation going, because we're about to have a whole lot of content dumped on us all at once, which means a lot of content here on the channel for us to discuss. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. Like me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter, and I will catch you guys later.